You're listening to Beat Autoimmune and Thrive, the podcast all about reversing and preventing autoimmune conditions so you can live your most vibrant life as soon as possible. We talk about autoimmune root causes, actionable solutions, and inspirational healing stories. I'm Palmer Kippola, and I used to have MS. Today, I'm an author, a speaker, a functional medicine certified health coach, a pickleball player, and nature lover who's helped thousands of people reclaim their health and their best lives. Let's dive into this episode. I am delighted to be joined today by Roberta Tachi, embodiment coach, spiritual guide, and inspirational example of complete autoimmune recovery herself. After facing her own illness and profound healing journey from the autoimmune disorder Myasthenia Gravis, Roberta has dedicated her life to helping others release trauma stored deep within the body. With more than 2 decades of experience in holistic healing and trauma release, Roberta has guided hundreds of individuals across more than 35 countries in discovering and resolving the emotional triggers behind chronic pain, autoimmune disorders, and other health challenges. She has the unique ability to intuitively identify the hidden blocks, the constrictions, and fragmentation within the body, those unseen barriers which prevent true healing. Roberta specializes in gently guiding people back into connection with their authentic selves, teaching them how to be in their bodies and integrate their life experiences so they can finally experience physical and emotional wholeness. I have personally benefited from working with Roberta, experiencing a deeper, more embodied connection with myself and a greater awareness, let's say a felt sense of the constrictions related to my own early childhood traumas. So I am super excited to delve into the realm of embodiment and trauma healing with her today. Welcome, Roberta.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor to be here, and I'm very excited to share, this experience, the, this topic of trauma release using the body, and also to be more fully ourselves, more free, more
Yeah.
present, more authentic, without, worrying so much what people are gonna think about myself,
I
about me.
love that so much. I frequently say that autoimmune healing is truly an invitation to become who you truly are. And I don't know that anyone understands that as deeply as you do, because when we talk about autoimmune root causes, you're going to the root of the root causes. And so that's
Yes.
what makes this particular topic so exciting. And one thing that I find people ask me all the time, I get this question over and over again. I hear that trauma gets stored in the body. So we will delve into this, and you will have an opportunity to talk about how can we heal from trauma? How can we release these stored traumas in our body? So that is so exciting to me. And that's the opportunity for this conversation, because I just can't wait for people to experience the kind of freedom that I have, I know you have, and many,
Yes.
many people that you've worked with. So with that as the introduction, um, you've got a powerful personal journey, both of developing an autoimmune disorder and then reversing it completely. Could you start by sharing your experience with this autoimmune disorder and maybe share some pivotal moments or realizations that led to your healing?
Yes. It was a very traumatizing experience. In fact, I was 27 years old when I developed this autoimmune disease, myasthenia gravis. And for people who do not know, it's a bit of a rare autoimmune disease. It's a neurological autoimmune disease that disconnects the nerves from the muscles. And it came about after having my daughter. And I was in Japan at that time when I started to feel my mouth could not move, my tongue could not move. Suddenly I was paralyzed. My legs were paralyzing, my arms were paralyzing. interesting is my eyes. I could not close my eyes. And I did not notice until I had to take a picture and I had to really literally hold my eye with my finger. And I said, no, I cannot blink. And then I realized I was not even blinking normally. So I started to feel, do I have a problem with my eyes?
Mm.
And but I think the most strong was my mouth because it got into a point I could not speak normally anymore and I could not swallow. So I would drink water, water would come through the nose out.
Mm.
It was a shock. I'm like, am I have a mental problem here? And soon they discovered, in fact, was myasthenia, and I was in a very bad condition in general because so many symptoms and very strong. So I was in a very high dose of steroid, prednisone. I went into 100 milligrams of prednisone, which is really a high dose. So I needed to be hospitalized, and I was hospitalized for 3 months.
Mm.
So this was very bad because first my daughter was a baby and have the separation was difficult. And the second reason is I was in Japan. I'm originally from Brazil. My husband is Japanese. We just moved there in the beginning, everybody's saying, Roberta, it's just you having the figure. This is a stress because you're in Japan. I said, no, I'm sick. I can feel I'm sick. And I used to point here, said, something is strange right here. And later on, I had a tumor in my thymus, and the thymus is right here. It was from here all the way down. And I felt, I don't know how could I have felt that was my thymus, but somehow I knew that and they discovered I had the surgery. I was intubated. It was quite difficult because also I it was few months after I arrived in Japan. It's Asia, totally different. I didn't read any, couldn't read anything, couldn't understand anything. Nurse would come. I have to dictionary. At that time, there was no cell phone, no
Mm.
internet translation, no WhatsApp, no FaceTime, nothing. So it was quite difficult. And so I was determined to be well. So when I remember one day I told my doctor, I will be well and I will get out of this hospital. And he told me every patient has the right for denial. And I look at him and I'm like, you do not know who you're talking to. I didn't say anything. I just stopped, but I was determined to be well. And I think this is important for you who are listening. If you have autoimmune or any other health issues, I think your intention to heal, your intention to be well has to be present. Cannot just be I go through the motion with take the medicine and do this and no. You have to have in your heart the desire to be well, the desire to heal, the desire to be a different person than what you are now,
Mm.
especially if you are suffering. That's my first advice because it triggers to the right doctor to come to you, the right healer, the right person, the right teacher, the right medicine, the right result of a research can be into science to the other way of the other side of the spectrum. But it's coming from you also telling the universe, I want to be well. So I left the hospital, and after that, I was doing anything and everything that I could feel better. And one day I decided I was reading a book about meditation. I have never done meditation. I was 27 years old at that time. And I said, I'm going to try this meditation. Higher self, lower self. Okay. So, and when I did this meditation, what I did is I was just sitting to do whatever was in the book, but that's not what happened. What happened is when I calmed my mind, I saw my body internally and I saw my own cells, the cells that were paralyzed, and I could communicate with them through a telepathy because it's my own body. So the cells were telling me telepathically is a bit weird, I know, that they were following my own instructions to be paralyzed. So I told them, let's change the instructions, let's move. And from that point on, something happened, which is my doctor started to see that I was getting better, and he was saying, let's reduce the prednisone. Let's reduce. And then he reduced in 2 months. He said, I don't think you need this medicine anymore. And more than 25 years passed. I think now, I don't know, maybe I am. So it's now I think we are 28, 29 years later. So I never needed prednisone again. I never needed medicine again. And I healed the myasthenia in this way. So this was how it happened to me. So what I did not know is that I could also see other people's body.
Mm.
I could see inside, but anyone who would come with any problem, I would many times they say I have a headache. Oh, I can do something for you because I did Reiki, I did acupressure, Japanese acupressure, I did the craniosacral. I was doing everything because I decided to help others to feel better in their body, especially people with autoimmune disease or people who have any physical issue, in fact, any disease. It was very difficult for me. I wanted to make it easier for others because I didn't have that when I was in Japan. I did
Yeah,
not have support or family support
yeah,
because it was far away, you know.
I
So
do.
that's
I
how this
do.
whole story
Oh,
started
what
to
a
help others.
story. What a story, Roberta. So beautiful. And I am listening to this, and I imagine somebody listening or watching this is thinking to themselves, oh my goodness, if I just quiet my mind and get really still, and maybe I can communicate with my cells. And so it's making me wonder, is this something that you were born with? Is this something that we can develop in terms of this intuitive capability? What would you say to that? Is it something you had any inkling about prior to your illness, or is it something that was the gift from?
I think it was all of it together. I think I think it was a gift, and at the same time, I feel any person can develop as much as they're first willing to. And also when you are helping others, because once I left the hospital was, as I said before, the intention to heal was coming from my heart. It was not just mentally, I want to be well. It was deeply felt. And I think that triggers. That's what
Mm,
I was saying. It triggers the universe. If you believe in spiritual guides, I think triggers your spiritual guides, triggers some energy in the universe that you are saying, my message is that. So the universe brings, it's a benevolent place. It does bring what you want back. The problem is that many times we send messages without knowing. And our subconscious mind is operating. We are full of fear. We do not know. And we are sending the universe these messages. And then the universe also can hear these messages. And it's not very good result. So, so the intention, the heart into healing brought up this opening for that possibility. So I think a person can learn. I teach people many times to do this process of seeing other people's body and guiding and help them to be more present, not aware only, but present
mhm.
in the body. And they started to see light. They started to see where the person is present, where it's not, where there is a not, where there is not. So they it can be learned, but in my case, I think it happened because of this intention. That's my reading, of myself. It came as a gift, but because I have the goal and the intention to heal. And after that, once you have the intention to help others from your heart, it also open up more
You
space and
know,
time.
I love that you talk about this, the intention to help others, because what I find when I start working with someone with an autoimmune disorder, I love beginning with the end in mind. Stephen Covey talks about being able to get there
Hmm.
faster when you can really see where you want to go. You have that clear intention, you feel it in your heart, and you really feel what it feels like to experience that
Exactly.
freedom. But I also very much see that the people who can see themselves and often do, uh, they start out, I want to become a health coach. I want to help other people, even while they are sick.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
This is
Yeah,
something
because
that becomes a guiding light that people can move towards.
yeah, it does because all this process is not linear. I like that when you say that I want to have my little ruler. Yeah, totally. This is not a linear, process. Embodiment, healing your body, and also the desire to help others. It's not okay. After I do this, I will do that. After you do this, I will do that. No, you begin to heal, and I healed the myasthenia, but I got to know the deeper cause years later, and I got to know other issues that I had that I did not know, going deeper and deeper. So it's like a spiral. You can say spiral spiritually growing up and being your higher self down here into this flesh right now. And also a deeper level going deeper, deeper down to the root causes of why this happened to me. But not because why from the victim part of it, oh, poor me, but because you're like, really me participated to this to happen in my life. What part of me is also, helping to create this because it's happening to me. It has to have my participation in it.
That's
And a
right.
lot of people don't want to hear that. They want to say something happened, it's not my fault. And it's
Yeah,
not our fault, but that we have somehow, most of the time, completely unconscious participation in what is happening in our life right now.
that's right.
So it's not a linear thing. So if you who are listening here want to help someone, don't wait for you to be well. Now I can help others. Do teach you what you already know because this will help people who do not know what you know, and help others because also helping others will open up space in you for your own healer to go deeper. That's what I believe. It doesn't I cannot say this is the truth. It's just my truth. It's what I do believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so beautiful. So now you've given us so much to work with here.
Hmm.
I want to go to the topic of early childhood trauma
Hmm.
that we experience,
Hmm.
and somehow it stays in our body.
Okay.
And somehow this setup, which we are not conscious of until many years later, and here we are at age 30, 40, 50, 60, 80, 100, and
Hmm.
still feeling like something is running the show from that many years ago. So,
Yes.
can you talk about how these traumatic experiences, many people may be familiar with the ACEs study, the adverse childhood experiences,
Yes.
which set the stage, increase the risk factor for developing autoimmunity later in life. But talk to us about how and why does trauma get stored in the body? And then we'll go from there.
Okay. So I normally say your biography shapes your biology, and your biography, this is exactly what you're talking about, which is our story and our history. And it's not only in terms of genetic, but epigenetics. We have two lines of things that happen to us in our body. And one of them I'm just going to mention here is we also mimic things of our parents' body when we are little in order to communicate. Very few people talk about, normally we talk a lot about this happened to me, therefore I did this and this and this, or I suffer in this way and I react in this and this, and this is true. And that's I'm going to explore more because it's more in our hands, even though both of them is the same way of healing. But we also have certain mimics of constriction. And constriction here, for people who would not know what you're talking about, is how you organize your body, how you tighten and tense your body, how you certain muscles, fascia, bones go to a particular way that many times people, oh, it's my genetics, but in fact it's not. It's just that you are mimicking your parents or your mother or your father since day one. You're mimicking because you see how they do and you want to participate in that tribe. You want to be part, you want to belong to that tribe. All of this in the baby's mind is not saying consciously, is perceiving because the baby has to understand, but it can feel that he or she can feel everything. So it begins to transform also in that particular way. So if a family, for example, is very mental, the baby will become very mental because that's how this family operates.
Mm.
It's not necessarily something happens. So this is one part that we also work because it's necessary, because it's come also from our ancestors, right? So then the other part that I talk more deeply, because many times there are more facets to understand, is this happened to me, and because this happened to me, I will defend and protect myself in a particular way, even if I'm 1 year old, 2 year old, 1 day old, three, five, whatever age. Normally, until 7, you have already a particular body organization, a particular defense and protection in place. And from that point on, whatever happened that is similar, you go into layers of protection and defense in the body. And then you tighten areas that creates fragmentation. So this, I'm going to give the example of my autoimmune disease because I think it's a great, very down to earth example. So what are you talking about? So I was just practicing being very present in my body, and very present is not aware. Aware is I am here noticing my body. So my mind is noticing my feet, my hands, noticing the body. Presence is when your mind goes and your mind is here. Your mind is deeply in your feet. It's almost like saying, my feet are aware of themselves. That is presence. That sounds difficult, but it's not. Very, in fact, very easy to start and be present. I would love to guide in the very end. If you're hearing this podcast now, watching the video, wait because I'm going to guide into a 5 minute inner connection. So it helps you to feel a little bit more present, which is always a gift. It's really a present to ourselves.
Beautiful.
So I was just being more present in my body. And I noticed in this area here a very hard, and it had even showed me a kind of a vision of a square, like stainless steel. I would say it was the hardness. I said, what is this texture so hard in my body? And I penetrate my mind there. And as I penetrate, immediately the whole memory of this area was open and shown to me. And I saw myself as a baby, as a 6-month-old baby who was fighting with my mother not to change my diaper. And she wanted to change my diaper. A very good thing. She's not hurting, beating me. This is very important to understand because people think that trauma is only someone is beating me up. No one was beating me up. My mother was not trying to leave her with poop in her pants, in her diapers and abandon her. No, she was being a good mother trying to change my diaper that was full of poop. I have to say that because that component is important. And I tightened so much and I was fighting with her. And as a baby, I realized I didn't have enough strength to be to win that game. I wanted to be stronger than her, and I felt the sense of powerlessness, physical weakness. And if you
Mm.
go to myasthenia, me is muscle asthenia, is lack of force of muscles, a very rare disease that represents exactly what the 6-month-old baby thought about herself. So I tightened the anus. I didn't want to poop, but I was still pooping. And it was winter in Brazil. And she used to say years later that I used to dirt all my clothes. She needed to change everything and wash everything. So you remember the stories. And then I said, That was the seed of the Myasthenia Gravis. And I'm not going to all the details here, but that was the seed that stayed there. When my baby was born, baby Roberta was triggered. So baby here triggered my baby mind and physical reaction, and then I become quite weak. And it was like a so this type of conditioning and things, it's not conscious, but the body is the memories in the body. The body, as the book says, the body keeps the score. The body keeps the burden. So the body is saving all the protection because at that moment, what did I do? Why this came when I was here? I was trying not to, you know, poop. And then I tried to close the anus itself and I closed all the muscles like this. Everything here was super tight. And that's why it was like stainless steel right here. And it was even painful to release because for decades I was trying to this. And I had the constipation my whole childhood. And I understood no one in the family had same food, but I had. So it can be anything, does not need to be beaten up, does not need to be. I have trauma from even just because like being a very beautiful baby and just because people are looking too much, the baby feels scared and went retrieved deep inside of the head and didn't want to come out because afraid of people. This is a client of mine. So there are many reasons why something can be so overwhelming outside that it's too strong and too intense or too repetitive. In the case of the diaper was a repetitive thing and it caused me to be scary about that because my mother was upset, but she was not upset with me, but she was upset with the situation. But for me, she was rejecting something I was doing that was for me natural. As a baby doesn't have any conscious, thought about that. But the unconscious, subconscious mind going to survival mode and know, okay, my life is in risk here. I need to protect. I need to stop doing whatever I'm doing because it's not well received. Boom, tighten this. And now I'm going to protect my life like this forever until the day I realize by being present, I'm typing like this. It's time to soften. It's time to open. So I hope it's very down to earth to help people understand the body is just going to a particular survival mode mechanism because sometimes maybe I was already too sensitive. I'm quite sensitive of everything that is going around. So that suddenly in one person of the family reacts in a particular way, another child reacts in a different way because we are different. And our levels of sensitivity, our levels, how the mind of the baby or the child perceives that. And later on in life, we will have other episodes of things that will make that stronger and stronger, almost like the universe again saying, "Hey, release this," but we don't. So I go, I go tighten even more, and that can cause disease. It can cause, autoimmune disease. It definitely cause physical issues because you cannot tighten your physical body to protect and think that it will work optimally. It can't. It will not work. It will not function in the same way if you didn't tighten all the tissues. This is not a mental, it's not emotional only. It's very physical that we protect ourselves by tightening the tissues in order to change something. If it's too much sound, I might tighten my ears. I might tighten my jaw hinge. So someone is screaming in the house. I might tighten very strongly that because I'm scared. If I'm scared, I'm going to tighten my chest because fear creates a tightness here and the tip of the stomach. And I don't want to feel this fear as a child. So I tighten here next to the armpit. I tighten in this way from the front to the back, but I also tighten to the sides to avoid feeling the emotion. So then we do not know, we cannot breathe deeply, and we do not know why. And sometimes people go for breathing classes, but deep inside the tissues are still holding that protection. But no one is screaming anymore, but we're still holding that. So that's why we go deeper. I like to go toward the root cause, really go deeper into the tissues, bring the mind there, because there is the physical reaction, that is the emotional level, and there's a level that very few people talk about, which is the mental level. The mind of the child who tighten in the very first place that particular area of the body. And that's what I see mostly when I'm working with people. I look and it shows the knots, and sometimes you open a knot, it shows something even more deeply that is there that needs to open. Makes sense? For me, it
This
totally
is
makes sense.
this is profound, and I want to say to the dear reader and watcher, if you are having some difficulty wrapping your brain around what Roberta is talking about, I get it, because sometimes it is really hard to envision or to experience this without fully experiencing this. And
Yeah.
so, full disclosure, I think it would be helpful if I even shared my own personal experience with
Yes,
you
I think
of,
it would be great.
I think it would be so helpful for people that I have had some oral infections in my mouth that have required some oral surgery this year. And as part of my healing process, I engaged Roberta to help me to go deeply into my body to heal. And what is so powerful about what has been so powerful about this work is you will guide me, like you will guide our listeners and those of you watching at the end of this. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. But I want to share my experience so that you can understand how I am processing what Roberta is talking about. Roberta will guide me through a deep relaxation. And the first time I did this, I just want to share, I don't think I had ever been fully inside my own body before. I am very much a mental person. I have a lot of feelings and emotions, but I do find that I live in a world with a lot of really intelligent people, and I spend a lot of time in my head. But the opportunity to work with you and what we are talking about is not to become aware of my body, but it's actually to inhabit the body. And as
Exactly.
you have guided me, this is the safest place to be. Now, one could argue that at some time in your life, if you have experienced physical abuse, maybe being inside your body was not a safe place to be. The difference is we are here now. I am safe
Exactly.
now. And so
Exactly.
this opportunity to be guided inside the body, and then while I am just being present inside my own head, as an example, you have the ability to be with me in the field and know where my mind is. And I have
Exactly.
never experienced anything like this. It's almost as though you can read my mind in a way, because Roberta is going on an inner journey of my own experience. For example, I might have a little pain here in the back near where a wisdom tooth was operated on. And Roberta will guide me to that area of pain, and I will be there. And she can actually be with me while I'm going on this inner journey. and say, just a little to the left, a little down. That's it. You're right there. And it seems like magic. But as you and I are both in that area, and I am not just envisioning it, but feeling the area soften and expand, you can see the constriction go deeper, or maybe take it from here and you explain to our listeners what you are doing and how you have this ability to see what's actually going on inside of me.
Yeah, so normally what for me, we always do that it has to have a means to have if you like now we are internet the internet is there's waves here, the electricity, there's the Zoom, that's the way we can see each other, even though you are in California, I am in Connecticut, right? So in the same way, for me, we are in the field of consciousness. This is the means of where I get information from what is happening in this field that we are. And some people might call this the quantum field, the physical physics, right? The quantum field is, or I prefer to say either quantum field or field of consciousness. As many times I will say divine consciousness is the field that is here. And when we are present, we are in the field. This field is always here because it's part of who we are, our true self, our authentic self, our higher self is nothing else than us. No. And when we are connecting with ourselves, we are in the field, and then it's revealed here what is going on that is disconnected from the field, because we are, let's say, enlightened person would be completely open in the field. But I haven't met anyone yet enlightened. We all have certain blocks, and those blocks are revealed in the field because they are disconnected from the field of consciousness. So we disconnect from our true self in the areas where we are defending and protecting. And it makes sense if you go to read the literature about, higher self or any high spiritual literature in the Buddhism, Hinduism, we're always going to mention about its sensation of bliss, of love, compassion. This is our true essence. It's peaceful. It's equanimity. You're not all over the place. So of course, if we are, it makes sense that if you are defending yourself, and I'm doing this because that's exactly what we do with our body here, is that is not a place of compassion, right? That's not a place that is feeling peaceful. That is a place that has fear, but not only fear, it might have anger, rage, humiliation, shame, sadness, can have so many other feelings. So that got stuck in the body because the body tightened that in order not to feel. So people go, how does this happen? It happens because you couldn't feel. You couldn't feel why? Because there's no one there to support you when it happened to you.
Mhm.
If I'm having a problem with my mother and she's the cause of the issue, not that she was doing something bad, but I was feeling that was too rough or too abrupt for me and too strong. I need something softer. Then I have no one else to get support from. Then I will tighten the body because how can I avoid to feel this so intensely? If I tighten the body, I feel less. I become more numb. And so if I become a little bit more numb here, unconsciously, of course, no one is thinking this. It's happening because I'm going to defense. Then I really don't feel the totality of the experience that happened. So then I stop that. I diminish the experience I'm having by protecting myself, and I disconnect from the field of consciousness. So the
Is that,
field,
may
go
I
ahead.
interrupt? I'm so sorry, but I want
That's,
to ask, is that the same thing as dissociating? Because people will have heard about the concept of fight, flight, freeze. We dissociate from something.
yes, Yes and no, because I think sometimes we're gonna say dissociation, and I had a lot of experience with dissociation. I used to leave the body in very traumatic experiences, completely unaware. There is no memory, there is no nothing there, because you'd only know when you come back that you have no idea where you were because something happened to you. And there is dissociation that goes into the level of distracting. Also, you can be like now, as an adult, how do you know you're dissociating when you go into a place in the body, for example, that has some traumatic experience that you don't even know it's happening? The first thing is you sleep. Okay, I'm going to go into my chest. You're in the head. I'm back here. So you might sleep. You might also distract yourself a lot. Also, as Gabor many times mentioned, and attention deficit is also a show of a way of dissociating, a way of showing I have trauma because my mind cannot focus here, because I don't want to focus here. I want to be all over the place, because then I'm not seeing this that is difficult to see, to feel, to understand, and to release. And dissociation can happen, in a range of levels, from a little bit dissociate to completely leave the body and you can do whatever you want because I'm not there. And when this is happening, we are not aware. But as an adult, when you touch areas, you might dissociate again. That's why I'm saying is the survival mode. You go into defense and protection, is the fight, flight, or freeze, fawn, and all the others, because we are protecting. But we have to remember, as you mentioned now, we are protecting against something that is not happening anymore. And that is very important. So if I work with someone very traumatized, for example, I many times we have to work very consistently, but also with compassion. And many times I say, let's do it with eyes open. Because eyes open remind you that you are in a safe environment. And we have techniques to work with that. But it's a way of knowing, okay, I have a lot of trauma. I will work with my eyes open. So I remember that I'm here. I remember that nothing is happening in my environment right now. And we go very little bit, but consistently, to be able to open more and have more connection with this field of consciousness, connection, which is many times called resources within, to be able to go more deeply in the areas of pain.
So
We
let's
don't go
go.
right into the pain because it can be triggering. Like you said before, you think that is not good. This body is the best place to be, because that is your divine consciousness or your consciousness. That's where you're going to find it. When you try to find your consciousness here, that is dissociation. Also,
Right.
it's like a bypass, trying to,
That's
okay, I'm going to be in La La Land. Everything is beautiful. I don't need to do any work because it's already here. No, it's already here, but you have to go through the body, because you cannot deeply connect with consciousness or the most, Buddha nature, whatever you want to call, if you are still deeply protecting and defending within the body. That's why I work through the body to get to the deeper mind, the mind that is tightened in the body, and also the Buddha nature mind, the mind that is the most beautiful mind. The mind is that's one with God, if you believe in God, one with Source. That is the mind, the compassion, the love, the your oneness with the whole universe. It's a real, it's an experience I have had many times. It is one with everything that
right.
is here. Yeah.
Beautiful. So I want to bring you back because I don't want to end on this story of mine that I was starting to share.
Okay.
That I want to bring people back. Um, I started working with you and you came with me inside my body and specifically into the area of pain. And you can see that and you're helping to soften it. But it's also to helping me to understand that this might have been the root of many, many things. It turns
Yes.
out when I was a baby, my birth mother was 14 years old. And I am quite certain with work that I've done that forceps were used
Mm.
and that I had a whole area on the side of my head was squashed. And that was probably the exact right thing to do for her, for me to be here
To be
and
born,
to
yeah.
be born. And and yet, here we are. I can't take up space. I need to be small. Everything was squashed in. So sometimes these are stories that we tell ourselves about what happened in the past. Sometimes we have the truth or our version of the truth. And what you are doing with me is to help me go into those areas which have been painful, physically painful, and to help
Exactly.
soften them and to
Yeah.
help expand and release. And it's a gradual process, but it is transformative
Yeah. Deeply, deeply transformative to take space
to take
because we
space.
we diminish ourselves for many, many reasons. Different things happen to different people, and but in the end, we are tightening, protecting, defending, and diminishing ourselves. So we defend by tightening here, the chest, we tighten the sides. Normally, we got very rigid on the right also that cause people have problem in their ankle, they have problem in their shoulders because they are tightened. They are not present all the way where the body, all the way out to the skin where the body is. The body is the skin is the boundary, but we are not even in our boundary. So we are inside smaller than our own body. So we need to go there and go into that place that we are tightening and protecting and release because it's not happening anymore. Like you might have tightening in your head because of the forceps, but the forceps is not there anymore. So why would you continue tightening that? So that is as simple as that. But is enough awareness? Oh, I have this happened to me. It's enough. No, you have to really go with your mind toward the area in the body where the body really tightened to protect against most probably during the birth painful, right? To have a forceps squeeze in your head. So we need to go there and open the tissues because that makes you okay. I can take space. This is my space. My body is here. That's my space. It's no one else's space. It's your space. So then you have freedom to be who you are. So this is like how I help, and I help by seeing the field of consciousness. It helps to reveal where in your body we need to go. So I don't guess. I don't guess. It shows, and I say, we have this and this area. Let's go there. And then we go deeply there to open, to allow yourself to take your space, to be here, to release something that's not happening anymore. And that is causing other issues now in your life that you might not have the chance to connect the dots. Many times people do not know how did I have this, how this happened. But then we connect the dots and we understand, wow, that's the reason I'm having this issue right now in my physical body. But it's not just physical, it's always physical, emotional, and mental. That is the mind of the child that is the part of yourself that tightens the body. Yeah? Makes sense?
It does make sense, and it needs to be felt. And
Yes.
so, with that, I wonder, would you be willing to guide us through
Yeah.
this short, maybe 5 minutes? So, if you are watching or listening to this, hopefully you're not watching while driving, but this is an opportunity to do when you're seated in a comfortable space, maybe at home, lying down on the couch in a chair, where you can close your eyes and get comfortable. Because I would love for people to experience being in their bodies, to really feel what that process is like.
Yeah. So I just want to give a few things, suggestions is, first I want to make sure that the release of our trauma constrictions is is not about just being present. We have techniques to use besides being present, but being present is necessary as a resource to be able to do that because it brings you a sense of safety, brings you a sense of being relaxed and being here, powerful. In fact, it will become more powerful, which is already in itself great, you know. So the suggestions is to close your eyes, but if you feel or if you know that you had a lot of trauma, if you're a person who is too anxious or feel very scared, at any time in this 5 minutes that you feel like I want to open my eyes, just open your eyes because it's important that you feel safe. But when you open your eyes, just to look at one particular thing in your environment. Don't keep looking left and right, up and down, because then your brain cannot really also have a rest. And we need the brain to also have a rest. So your eyes just focus into one point in case you want to do with your eyes open, or if you want to open your eyes during the guidance. The other part is avoid crossing your legs. See if your legs can be uncrossed with your feet on the floor, or you can have a cushion under your feet because the soles of our feet are very important to feel safe. And when you touch the soles of your feet in some surface, it can be your shoes, you don't need to be barefoot at all. It gives you a more grounded, it exactly gives you a sense of being here, being grounded, and safety also because of our neurological system. So it's also good to have your arms just resting on your lap. And another point, very important, is your chin. I will guide you through your face because this will help you to find more your body. Make sure that your chin, if you're looking, is not to put your chin too up because this disconnects you from your body, not to put too down because you might fall asleep. So just see if you can have your chin parallel to the floor. This will is just a guidance to help you to connect more deeply, even if this is the first time for you. Okay? All right. So take a moment to close your eyes if it's okay for you and bring your attention to your own face. Bring your attention to feel your own face. And you can also, even if you feel that you're a little bit in front of your face, pull yourself in, pull yourself in to feel that you are inside your face. And take a moment to feel your nose, feel your lips, feel your chin. Make sure that you feel your chin and feel your eyes and feel your whole your whole face. And now take a moment to feel behind your face so that you are deeply connect with your head. You are feeling the internal space of your head. Make sure that you feel the lower part of your head, like behind the nose, behind the chin, behind the mouth. And now bring your attention all the way down to your feet, as if the mind has gone there, from the head to your feet. Feel that you are in your feet. Feel the soles of your feet. Feel your ankles and feel the left and right side at the same time. Feel that you are in your legs, your lower legs, your knees, your upper legs, allowing the legs to rest more on the chair if you're sitting. And take a moment to feel your torso, your pelvis, sitting on a chair if you're sitting. Allow yourself to feel the sides of your pelvis and feel your midsection, including your stomach. And see if your mind can go there and go all the way through to the back and to the sides. Feel that you are in your chest Again, all the way through to the back and to the sides. Perhaps you can feel your armpits. And then feel your shoulders from the bottom of your neck to your arms, allowing the shoulders to soften. Feel that you are in your arms, left and right at the same time, from your shoulders to your elbows, forearms, your wrists, your hands, your fingers. Your mind is in your hands. Your mind is in your fingers. And now feel your neck. So from your hands, you can feel your arms and your shoulders again, and feel the sides of your neck next to the ear, from the shoulders to your ears, the sides of your neck, the front, the back. Very good. Your mind is in your neck, and your neck is softening. And now feel again your face, your forehead. Let the forehead rest. Feel your temples. Feel your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your lips, your chin, your jaw, your cheeks and cheekbones. Feel that you are in your ears and inner ears. Feel that you are in your whole internal space of your head, your brain, and also the top of your head. And now take a moment to feel that you are in your whole body all at once, from the soles of your feet to the top of your head. And slowly, very slowly, you can open your eyes and just focus at one point. And with your eyes open, feel that you are again in your whole body, from the soles of your feet to the top of your head. And relax.
Wow, that was lovely.
I
Thank
hope.
you.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to share a little bit of this work with you and with your audience. It's
Yeah.
such a pleasure.
It's just beautiful, and I invite the listeners, anyone who this resonated with, to play that interconnection piece again and again, come back to that 5 minutes to really be present inside your body as
Yeah.
often as you'd like.
Yeah. Give this present, give this gift to yourself, to be here, to be present. Yeah.
Maybe when you wake up in the morning and certainly before you go to bed at night. And now I'm going to be greedy and ask for more. If there are any techniques or strategies, simple things that people can do to become more present in their own bodies, what would you offer?
I think easiest thing is to find certain symmetrical points in the body. We tend, many times the mind is agitated. We have a busy life. Sometimes we are running and doing so many things. So a way of doing just 5 minutes is great. But if I have few seconds, you can find the center of the palm of one side, find the center of the palm of the other side, and then find both at the same time. Is again, not just perceiving, but bringing the mind to the hand and then find both at the same time. Many times, 30 seconds, that's all it's need. Another point is center of the soles of the heels. This is very good if you're going to hike, if you're going to exercise. So your mind goes to your feet, and you find these 2 points, center of the soles of your heels on the left, center of the soles of your heels on the right. Find both at the same time. So any symmetrical point. Person can find the elbows, the knees, but I think hands and feet are easier. And it's something very simple you can do every day, and it helps to bring you to yourself. If you're running and going forward in the body, it helps you to find yourself here. And that is how it starts this journey. Yeah.
And this is where healing happens.
Oh,
When
yes,
we
definitely.
when we come home to ourselves.
Yeah.
Roberta, this has been such a gift and an honor to get to know you, to experience this, to share your beautiful experiences and wisdom of what you've been through and what you're offering to the world now. I just love this. And so, how can people find you? Where would you like people to reach you? What's the best place or
So
places?
first, I would love to say thank you so much. It has been a pleasure to be here. I always feel so happy to share this information, to let people know and understand more deeply how it happens, and uh, and to even guide is such a pleasure, such a pleasure. So people can find me in Instagram, Roberta Tachi. My name is half of a Japanese name, Roberta Tachi. YouTube also. I was moving, so I plan now to do more videos that I can also share more with people about this beautiful, deep process of transformation. Or my homepage, robertatachi.com. It's
Beautiful,
everything my
Roberta.
name, doesn't have any special name yet. Oh, and I have an app, I forgot. It's called Embody Wellness.
Okay, embody
Total
wellness.
I totally forgot about the app. I
I
have,
will put all of these links in the resources section underneath this video and on the
ah,
podcast so people can find you and continue benefiting from this profound healing wisdom.
oh,
It's just been a joy, and I thank you so much, Roberta.
I thank you. Thank you. It's
Yeah,
been a pleasure to work with you, to also know that you're helping others. We need all the help in the world to help others and to share this with everyone. Thank you.
thank you so much. I will see you soon, and until soon, be well, my friend.
Be well. Thank you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
And that's a wrap. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, share it with your friends and family, and if you feel inspired, please leave a quick review so other people can find it too. Now, if you want to beat autoimmune and thrive, make sure you sign up for my free video training at freeautoimmunetraining.com. That's freeautoimmunetraining.com, and watch the first video right away. Take good care. Bye for now.